Hello students, hope you are doing good. So today in this lecture we'll be just learning the concepts of a Swing API. So till now we have just covered what is AWT and the different classes of AWT. So AWT is basically the abstract window toolkit, and it is useful in building the Java applications, the Java graphical user interface based applications. So here we will be learning Swing API, and this Swing is very important because it is a lightweight GUI. Lightweight means it doesn't use any operating system's resources, and it is platform independent. Like AWT is heavyweight and it is completely platform dependent, and it is also lacking in some components like radio button is not present in AWT. So we can say that Swing API is a collection of classes that contain some extra components as compared to the AWT. Swing API follows MVC architecture. Swing API is platform independent. It gives a good look and feel. And this Swing API is built on the top of AWT API. So for example, in AWT we have created a frame. So here also we'll be having a frame class that is known as a JFrame. So this JFrame is nothing but it is the child class of this frame class. So event handling is also possible in Swing API. So this Swing API is now widely used over this AWT API. So we don't have to go into the scratch. We need not have to start from the scratch because we have just used the AWT. We know the concept of AWT, we know the concept of event handling in AWT, we know the concept of containers in AWT, and so on. We know what are the components, what are the classes, what are the listeners, what are the interfaces. So these all things we will just combine in this Swing, and we just create an application with the help of Swing API. So in Swing, while creating the Swing application, we can also import the AWT classes. We can also import the AWT classes in our program. So now we just see that how this Swing is used in creating a form. So now I'll be just creating a form, and the main target of this form is it is a form that contains some text fields, some labels. And my target is that I will just put two numbers in two different text fields, and when I click a particular button, that is an add button, so an event must be generated and some result will be displayed in the third text field. So basically it is a program to add two numbers, but not through the console, but with the help of a frame or with the help of a form, you can say. So let's see. So before starting, we have to import certain libraries. So we just import java dot awt.star because we will also use some components, some classes of AWT, some methods of AWT. So if you want to use some methods of AWT like the layout managers and also, you have to import, you can import that particular layout manager class also, and also you can, if you want, then you can also import the whole library. Second is import java.awt.event. So if I want to handle certain events, then I have to import this particular class. And before starting with swings, we have to import java x. So now this is not java, this is java x. It means this Swing is the extended version of AWT. So here we just use import java x dot swing dot star. So you have to just be careful in importing Swing classes, but you have to use this x here okay, in spite of writing Java. So this X is nothing but, okay, it is the extended version. So they have used this Java X here. So it is the extended version of AWT. So this is Java X. So now what we'll do, we'll just extend. Okay, so in AWT we are extending frame, but here we will extend J frame. Okay, so we'll extend J frame and we implement, okay, implements the listener, that is the action listener. So here you can see this action listener is here for event handling. So now what we'll do, we'll just now create the components. Okay, so what are the components? We have to create the labels, the text fields and the button. So as in case of AWT, button is a class. So now here the class is JButton. As in case of AWT, label is a class. So now the class in Swing is JLabel. Okay, so there is a prefix, that is a J, that is added before the class. So it is the subclass of the class label only. So here I just create J label, L1 is equal to new J label. Okay, and here you can see there are these different, okay, labels that are present, and inside this I write first number. Our target is to add two numbers and to display it in the text field. Okay, so this J label, the first two letters must be in a capital. Okay, these first two letters must be in capital. So if you just, okay, put your cursor here, then it will just show you that it is a display area for short text string or an image or both. A label does not react to input events. Okay, so these are the things that you can perform with the help of the IDE. So now we have to create another label. So I just copy it, and this is J label, L2 is equal to new J label, and this is second number. So this is second number. So there are two labels. Again we have to create a label. It says J label L3 is equal to new J label, and it says this is sum is. Now we'll create J text field. J text field. So text field is a class, okay, in AWT, and here the class is J text field, that is the subclass of that text field. So tf1 is equal to new J text field, and here we just write, for example, 10. This is the length. Okay, and for again this will just use J text field tf2 is equal to new J text field 10, and for the result we have to use, we have to copy this, we'll just copy it, and we just use J text field tf3 is equal to new J text field this. So now text fields have been set. Now we have to set the button. So J button is the class. J button b1 is equal to new J button. Okay, so this button is also we have created. Okay, so now what we'll do, we'll just add these components. Okay, so we just create a constructor. So a constructor we are just creating, and we just adding these components inside the constructor. So the components are add. Okay, so the components are added with the help of this method add. So this add method is also present in this Swing API. So add, we have to add L1. Okay, we have to add tf1, add L2, add tf2, add label 3, and add tf3, and finally we have to add b1. Okay, so these have been added. Now we have to set the size of the frame. So it is also, this method is also present in this Swing API. So set size, okay, for example we set the size at 230, 300. It is the width and the height we have set. Okay, you can set it anything as you like. Okay, set layout. So this layout manager, okay, this is present in AWT. This is the method of AWT. So set layout, that's why we have imported that AWT library, is equal to new flow layout. Okay, so this is the flow layout. The default layout is the border layout in Swing. Okay, we can make this set layout as null also, and we just, okay, set the layouts with the help of the set bound. So we can also use the set bound method, okay, that we have implemented in AWT. So in that we have to pass, okay, 4 parameters: x component, y component, okay, x axis, y axis, and the width and the height of that particular component. We can also use this. So, and finally we have to make this as visible, and we have to pass a boolean, that is, okay. So this is done. So now what we'll do, we have to now add a listener. Okay, so we have to add a listener. So for the listener we'll just write b1, because we have to add the listener on b1. So when I write b1, so it has, okay, it has just displayed so many things. So I am interested in this action listener, because the event will be generated at this b1, and we have to register our object, okay, our class in this listener. So we'll just pass the current object, that is this. So I hope this is clear to you now. We have implemented the same in AWT also. Now what we'll do, this listener will call, okay, a callback function. So for this particular action listener we have to use a callback function, that is what action is to be performed. So this is the method void, okay, so we'll just write public void, and this is the method inside this action listener interface. So action performed, and here we can write the action event e. Okay, so this is the method now in which we have to write our code. So what we'll do, we have to perform some action. It means if we want to, okay, we have to get some text first. Okay, so we'll be just inputting the text in the text field. So when we just input the text in the text field, then it will be done with the help of a method, that is the get text method of the getTextField class. So we just implement tf1 dot get text, because we have to get the text. So it will return a string when you type get text. So it will just say it is of type string, so it will just return a string, and you just pass something in this get text. Okay, when you just input your number, then it will return, okay, some string. So you have to convert this particular string into an integer, because you are more interested in addition of two numbers. So you have to parse it with the help of, now you have to use the wrapper class method. So what we'll do, we'll just use integer, okay, dot, and you have to use parse int. Okay, so this is the method you have to use, and inside this you have to pass this tf1 dot get text, because it will return a string and it will be converted into the constituent integer. So data type conversion is taking place, and just I put it inside this a. Okay, so in a similar way we just write int b is equal to, for the second text field, okay, tf2 dot get text, because what we are entering into the text field, it will return the string, it will not return it in the form of integer, but we have to perform the operation. So we just have to convert it into integer by its constituent wrapper class. So now it is clear to you, I think. So what we'll do, now the addition is performed. Now what we have to do, we have to just, okay, display it. We have to set the text, okay, in the text field. So what we'll do, we'll just write tf3, because in the text field 3 we have to set this text, set text. Okay, so this set text is also taking the string. So let's see, if I just pass this c here, what happens. Okay, so this is completed. Now we have to write the main. So main is here, and we have to create a constructor inside this main. So the name is sw form. Okay, so we just create an object is equal to new. Okay, sw. So this object, as soon as this object will be created, okay, the constructor will be invoked. So now let's see. Okay, let's try to run this and let's see what happens. So here you can see, okay, you can see that a form has been generated. Okay, but this is not currently visible. So I just forgot, okay, to add a label in this button. So just add a label, that is add. Okay, so I hope now it will work. Let's check. Okay, here also this is integer. Okay, I forgot to mention it. So now let's try to run it and let's see what happens. So here you can see a frame has been generated that says first number, second number, but the frame is, okay, it is looking a bit awkward because the bounds are not set properly. Okay, because the frame's width and height is not properly set, so you can customize it, okay, as per your choice. So here just I put this as, I make this as 240. Okay, and let's try to run it again. So now here you can see it is, okay, it is looking bit good as compared to the previous one. So now the first number is, for example, 30, second number is 50, and let's try to execute it. So it has thrown some errors. Okay, let's see what are the errors and what is the cause of the error. So it says the method setTextString in the type JText component is not applicable for the arguments integers. So we have committed an error because, okay, we have just passed an integer value inside this setText method, and this setText method returns, okay, it only identifies the string. So what we will do, we just concatenate, okay, it with a string. So integer plus string means a string. So a string value will be retained in this setText method, and I hope the error will be resolved. Okay, so just concatenate with some empty string. So let's try to run this and let's check again. So again let's write 50 and 30 and just put, and here you can see the output is 80. So now that particular error, okay, the string error, okay, has been resolved. Our value has been typecasted, okay, it has been converted into a string, because when you add an string with an integer, the result will be an string. So now that particular setText method is capable of understanding that it has returned a string, and that's why 80 is here. Okay, so when I close this, okay, now very important thing that I have to tell you, in AWT we have to, okay, override certain methods, we have to implement the window listeners and all, but here we are not, okay, we are not using any window listener as of now. Okay, I'm just, okay, closing this, and this particular thing is now closed. There is no window listener that I have to implement, I have to override, and this is very important. Okay, so the number of instructions are less as compared to the AWT. Okay, you can see the number of instructions are less. Okay, the 7 over the methods that were present that we have to override in window listener, we have not written all these methods here. But there is one thing, when we just cross it, okay, so you can see the process is still, the program is still, okay, alive, the process is still active, the program is still not terminated. Okay, here you can see in console this cursor is blinking. Okay, and here you can see this red button, it says terminate, it means the program has not been terminated till now, the cursor is still blinking. So it means we have to set some operation so that when we just put our pointer in this close button, so at the same time our program must also closes. Okay, a process also close, and it should be like that. So now we have to terminate it with the help of this button. So now it says that it is terminated, so you can't type anything. Okay, again I just make you clear that if I close this and it is blinking, then I'm able to write anything. Okay, so it is a flaw. Okay, I have to terminate this console, and after I have terminated the console, now I am not able to write anything. Okay, so this we have to implement in our program. So this, there is a method that is provided in JFrame. Okay, and that method is set default close. So we have to implement set, and you can see here set default close operation, and it takes integer operation. So I just click on it. Okay, so this is set default operation, and operation is, what is the operation? It should be exit on close. Okay, so if I type E, okay, and after typing E we just press control space. So you can see there are different, okay, there are different variables and different things that are visible here. So I have to just click on this exit on close. So this exit on close is basically a static variable of the JFrame class. Okay, so this is the static variable of JFrame. So now let's try to run. So this we have to use whenever we are creating the programs with the help of Sing. So this we have to use in each program. Okay, default set default close operation, exit on close, and this exit on close is a static variable of JFrame class. Okay, so this is static variable of JFrame. Okay, that exit on close variable. So now let's try to run. Okay, try to just watch this console also. Okay, so what is happening in this console? Okay, this button will be just try to watch this. So first number is 20 and second number is 45. We are adding 65, and when I just click this close, okay, so you can see here it says terminated, and this particular red button, okay, so the color of this red button is, this faded away. Okay, this color is now not red, and you can't type anything. Okay, so at the same time the process is also terminating when you are closing that particular button. But in the previous case, when we are not using set default close operation, the process is still active. Okay, the process is still active. Okay, the process is not terminated. So that's all. Okay, stay happy and stay fit, and try to practice more problems, and just clear your concepts by just watching the videos. Thanks.